Have you ever looked someone dead in the eyes, listened to their whole story, every detail perfectly placed, and just known it wasn't true? Not because it was impossible, because something felt off. Stop reading for a second and think of one person, someone who lies about where they were, someone who inflates every win, someone who tells the same story 5 times, and every time it gets bigger. Here's what's strange. Most of these lies make no sense. They don't bring money. They don't avoid punishment. Half the time, they bring nothing at all. So why can't that person stop? Everyone assumes lying is a character flaw, a moral failure. But psychology found something far more disturbing. For a lot of people, lying isn't a decision anymore. It's a coping mechanism, a survival reflex wired so deep they don't even feel it happen. By the end of this video, you'll know the 4 psychological stages that turn an ordinary person into someone who lies without even trying. Stage 1 starts in childhood. Stage 2 literally rewires the brain. Stage 3, you've already witnessed it, probably this week, without realizing what you were looking at. And stage 4 will change how you see the biggest liar you've ever known. Because sometimes the person they're working hardest to fool is themselves. Picture a 7-year-old boy. He's kicking a ball around the living room right after his mom told him not to. One bad kick. A loud crash. The family picture frame shatters. Heart racing. Stomach in knots. Footsteps in the hallway. Then the question every kid on earth has heard. Did you do this? For one split second, his brain sees 2 futures. Truth, and the disappointment that comes with it. Or a lie. And maybe, just maybe, he escapes. He picks the lie. No. Parents think this moment is about discipline. Psychologists think it's the birth of a pattern. Not because the kid is bad, because his brain just learned something powerful. The truth hurts, and a lie can make that pain disappear, at least for now. Researchers have studied this for decades, and one thing keeps repeating. Almost no one lies out of selfishness. They lie out of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, fear of losing someone's love. The teenager lying about grades, the employee lying about the deadline, the husband saying traffic was bad, the friend swearing, "I forgot." Different people, same wiring underneath. And every time the lie removes the fear, the brain quietly takes notes. Not on purpose, biologically. Your nervous system rewards anything that makes discomfort go away. That's the whole mechanism behind every habit you have. So if lying works once, the brain files it away as a shortcut. Next time something feels dangerous, use it again. And that shortcut gets easier to reach every single time, until lying stops feeling like a choice at all. If you've caught yourself doing this, or watched someone you love do it, type "I've seen it" below. You are not the only one, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. Here's where it gets clinical. Neuroscientists in London put volunteers inside a brain scanner and built a game where lying paid off. What they found shocked even them. On the first lie, the amygdala, your brain's built-in alarm system, fired hard. Tight chest, hot face. That wave of guilt you know too well. On the second lie, the alarm rang softer. By the third, softer still. Every repeated lie, the reaction shrank a little more, like the alarm was running out of battery. Scientists named it the slippery slope effect. Small dishonesty numbs the brain and clears a path for bigger dishonesty. Nobody wakes up one day and decides to become a compulsive liar. Nobody chooses that. They slide into it, one easy lie at a time, until the lie leaves their mouth before the thought even fully forms. No guilt, no effort, no alarm at all. You don't need me to describe this one. You've already met them. The person who always has an incredible story. Every trip was unforgettable. Every job was amazing. Every deal was one signature away from changing their life. Always one phone call from getting rich. Always friends with someone important. At first the stories are fun, then the cracks show up, names change, dates don't line up, details vanish and get replaced. And you start to notice they're not really trying to convince you. They're trying to convince themselves. Psychologists call this self-enhancement, inflating your own image, especially when your self-worth feels under attack. Everyone does a small version of this. You downplay a mistake, you highlight a win, normal. But for some people, the gap between who they are and who they wish they were becomes unbearable, and that gap is where chronic lying is actually born, not as a weapon, as a bridge. Think about social media for a second. Nobody posts the sleepless night, the argument, the unpaid bill. They post the vacation, the promotion, the perfect smile. Now picture someone doing that, not online, but face to face, every single conversation, every single day. At some point, they stop showing you who they are, and they start performing. Here's the cruel part. The more they perform, the more terrified they get of anyone actually seeing the real them. Because now, every compliment isn't for them, it's for the character. And every lie creates a new job. Remember it, protect it, defend it, build another lie to hold it up. Eventually, they're not managing one story. They're managing an entire fictional identity. And somehow, their brain still prefers that exhausting performance over the risk of being real. There's an old saying, one lie leads to another. Psychology says something stranger. One lie can lead to an entirely different memory of reality. Because memory isn't a recording. Every time you recall something, your brain rebuilds it from scratch, filling gaps, softening some parts, exaggerating others. Repeat the same lie enough times, and your own memory starts blending the fiction with what actually happened. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If someone genuinely believes the story they're telling you, are they still lying? Or are they the first victim of their own lie? This is the saddest stage of all because the chronic liar almost never sees themselves as the villain. In their own head, they're the misunderstood hero, the almost winner, the one who only failed because of bad luck, jealous people, an unfair world. They're not lying to hurt you. They're lying so they can still look at themselves in the mirror. Every exaggerated story is one more brick in a wall, built to block out a single sentence they can't stand to hear. I am not enough. Now think again about the biggest liar you've ever known. The coworker who invented achievements. The relative who exaggerated everything. The friend who was always one deal from getting rich. You were probably angry at them. Maybe you still are. But now you know what's underneath it. A 7-year-old standing over a broken picture frame who learned the truth hurts and never really stopped running from it. That doesn't erase the damage. Broken trust has real consequences, and understanding someone isn't the same as excusing them. But it changes the question. Not, why did they lie to me, but what have they been running from this whole time? And maybe the harder question, and the one almost nobody asks while looking in their own mirror: what truth are you still running from? If this video made you see someone differently, then comment "Now I get it" below. And if you want to know exactly why people do the things they do, the next video on your screen goes even deeper.